I could have and would have done this statement in a style similar to the car rental scene from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but at the behest of the management, I shall instead take more of a Marge Simpson Treehouse of Horror type approach. Now, I realize that our feelings on masking can be, conflicting at best. But the fact is that some places like theme parks might still require face coverings. Really, it's for the safety of not just yourself, but the people around you as well. So if you're going to come and these regulations are still in place, please follow them. Wear your masks on the rides and in the queues and around the park unless it's a designated area. And you need to wear them properly. So please wear the mask over your chin, over your mouth, and specifically over your nose. Of course, we're recording this days before June 15th, so it's not quite clear how relevant this statement may still be at the time of release. But that's also up to private business to decide, so maybe this is still worth heeding. Thank you! That would have been it. And so this moment I want to, share is like, so this is, of course, my first time being at a theme park since, the 4th of March, 2020. So I'm coming up to the place, I'm driving up, kind of passing by, that shopping center with the McThriller McDonald's. And so I have the Broadway channel on the radio. What a surprise. And on there comes, the song Make Our Garden Grow from the 1997 cast recording of Candide, which I know very little about, and I knew even less on that day. And that song, it was kind of a beautiful one, kind of like a sunrise of a song, and felt good to have that, as I'm pulling up, it's the morning, I'm seeing this Knott's iconography here at the corner. I'm driving past the entrance gate. It's my first time back at a theme park. And I know a berry farm isn't quite a garden, but hey, close enough. It felt like a very fitting piece of music to accompany the return of that return.
Nice.
Also, it's like pulling up and I see okay, let's arrive at Knott. Oh, look, a school bus.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm worried about on Tuesday for Discovery Kingdom. I mean, I hope that school is far enough along that I'm going to be good, but I don't know.
Someone on Twitter was even giving Knott shit about letting school groups in the park that day.
I genuinely don't think school groups should be going to theme parks right now. Just straight up, with all the capacity issues that we're having, Yeah. I mean, I just straight up, if you're going to send a school group to the park, do it after hours or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, bring back grad night or something.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's feasible.
Some form
safe.
of grad night. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so my just throwing it out there while I still can, the Knott's app still sucks. I was just trying to look up showtimes and that screen wouldn't load.
Cue the Iago, oh, there's a big surprise meme.
Okay, god damn it. Now I'm picturing... Okay, this is sacrilege. I'm sorry, but... Oh! It's you! I'm glad you're here. I need
no. Don't do it.
I'll leave it there. Okay, so... The stuff I managed to get on... Berry Tales, Calico Mine, second ride on Berry Tales, the High Sierra Ferris Wheel, Jaguar. I got in line for Jaguar and wasn't crazy about the people out front not following the masking well, and I was worried about missing something. Ghost Town, so I did get to Jaguar later. Huh?
I said Jaguar is not worth stressing yourself out for.
Yeah, so instead of that, I went to Ghost Town, caught some of the stuff with the Mayfield gang, which I caught 2 of those things. That was nice and fun. I did Pony Express. Got a third ride on Berry Tales, and then last thing I did was Jaguar.
So no Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider Q was
No,
just
I
insane.
walked by at one point and was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Wait.
I don't blame you. I
Like,
imagine it'd probably be bad.
longer because of distancing,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time,
I still think you're a fool for not going on Calico River Rapids, but whatever.
when I'm less concerned about getting my mask wet and or I have a backup mask. I didn't
Just
bring a
bring
backup.
backup masks.
I didn't bring a backpack that day just for the sake of simplicity.
All right, fair enough.
Because I wasn't going to be there, didn't plan to be there that long.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you walk by Mystery Lodge at all? Is there any activity going on there? I only asked for my own morbid curiosity.
On the sign that says Mystery Lodge, I hope it's a temporary thing they put over it that says Relax Zone.
Oh, so that fucking worries me.
I guess.
Oh no! So the sign is just completely covered now.
I mean, it looks generally the same, except over where it says Mystery Lodge, there's a thing that says Relax Zone. I hope it's a temporary thing.
Oh God. Okay. Well.
So I guess my guess is they're using the outdoor extended queue area as a relaxing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, that is a relaxing area, so I'll give it that.
Yeah. So, just a few little anecdotes. Going on the mine ride, I didn't plan to because trapped inside like these.
I was imagining the mine ride would be bad. Yeah.
But being there early enough, and I was able to get a train to myself.
Just a whole train?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Well, the poetic thing is the one time that's happened before was before the Garner Holt renovation. So, hey, once for the old, once for the new.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And that's also a tip with these parks. Like, get there before the posted opening. Like, Knott's opened the gates, like, just over a half hour. I mean, just a little under a half hour before the scheduled opening. And the rides were open.
So Knott's didn't have reservations?
No, Knott's you have to do reservations. You don't have to schedule what time you'll be arriving anymore, but you still have to do reservations.
Okay, that's the thing, because with Discovery Kingdom, like, I honestly don't even know if the cast members are even, like, adhering to the reservations, but I had to take a reservation for 15 minutes after the park opens, and honestly, knowing Discovery Kingdom, I'm probably not even going to need that 15 minutes, because all the rides probably aren't even going to be up and running by then anyways, but I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if I just, you know me, dude, like, we've been in the same sort of situation before where, like, I do not want to get into a situation where, like, I am at the front gates and they're saying, like, no, you can't go in yet.
Ooh, flashback.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so
because I don't want to be the dick who's like, well, come on, it's only 5 minutes, just bend the rules for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, so I just want to give a shout out to the Calico Mine ride in general, because something that was occurring to me on this ride was how I was going through it and thinking, okay, I believe this is where in the building this room would be. Trying to place it. And despite that, it was still super immersive. It's still hard to believe I was in just whatever show building.
Calico Mine Ride is one of the most immersive dark rides ever, in my opinion. Like Disney or other.
I could very well call it the most.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't disagree with you.
Yeah. Also, just funny little story. So, so I arrive at the park, I go in, I ride Berry Tales, I board the mine train goes into that first tunnel, so we're about to come up to the greeter, and I realize, oh, I never put earplugs in.
Nice.
Yeah, because I wear earplugs to, parks and shows and things, for those who may not know, and it's, oh, I never got those in. Okay, I'm scrambled to put them in as I pass by the greeter and enter the steam pots room, which is filled with steam, like you could barely see in there. Yeah, so I got through, which means getting through Berry Tales without plugs. Good to know. Let's see. It was funny, on Pony Express, I go through the ride. I'm in the brake run, on that hill. But I'm there a little longer than usual because that's when they started cleaning the train in front of us.
Oh, yikes.
I didn't mind too much because, I've already boarded. I've already gone through the ride.
Right, but
It's
it's
a place
still
to
kind of
just
like
sit.
it's an awkward position to sit in, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I am done holding these handlebars now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm ready to let go and wash my hands.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, the park is looking nice. I think they may have refreshed the entry gates. Some nice decor for the 100th. What was it? Yeah, the stage across from Calico is kind of set up like a little park now. That looks really nice.
Interesting.
And I know I mentioned this in the chat, but I'll say it anyway. They're doing whatever like Happiness is show with the Peanuts characters, and they were doing some song, and I swear it sounded like they were singing like "Why don't you jump my junk?"
Oh boy.
Something nice with Jaguar was how the line is mainly outside, like in front of Soul Spin and the pyramid.
I imagine that's how they'd have to do it.
Yeah, so you just breeze through the indoor queue and then until you're at the station. Yay, use is yay, pulsing. So shall we get
Jaguar is just not worth a line at all. Jaguar is honestly like one of my least favorite coasters.
Okay.
Is that an unpopular opinion?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I really don't like how small and compact the trains are, and I really don't like how it just kind of like meanders around, and it honestly takes up more space than it should. All right. Anyways,
so shall we get on the old Knott's Berry line?
Yeah, Berry Tales. What's up?
Yeah, this was such a wait. What are you real? Is this real? When they announced it. And that
I was calling it for a while too.
Yeah, that was of course a question like back when Iron Reef was announced was, wait a minute, so you did this big renovation of the log ride with Garner Holt, then the following year you did a big renovation of Calico Mine ride with Garner Holt, and now you're working on the old Berry Tales dinosaur space, so are you bringing back Berry Tales with Garner Holt? No, you're doing Voyage to the Iron Reef, which nobody saw coming.
And I got to admit, I was one of those people where it's like I was optimistic about the theme of Iron Reef. I just don't think it was pulled off very well.
I liked Iron Reef, but you're not wrong.
Uh-huh.
You're not that wrong. and yeah, the reason I ended up getting a Knott's Pass was like, hey, get a Knott's Pass for 2020, and you can get a day in 2019 if it's still December. And well, that takes care of my traditional December visit, and it'll get me in there when Berry Tales opens, which I'll surely be sure to check out when it opens. And the pandemic happened, but hey, at least this is a pass I can use to get into Knott's now that it's up.
So the pandemic rolled back, or I'm sorry, the pass rolled back into 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So, let me describe this moment.
Okay.
So I'm in the car. I've already been pretty excited about seeing all of this stuff, like how they've decorated all like the queue and the load area.
Oh, just for reference, the thing that I didn't want you to see that was like to me kind of like I want him to see that in person first.
What?
Is the big brick mural on the side of the building for the boysenberry stuff. I don't know. I just think that's such a cool detail.
It is a good detail.
Yeah. Anyways,
so
not really a spoiler.
And of course, I'll try not to be too spoilering these descriptions, by the way, unless noted. So anyway, that first door, so the car moves forward, that first door's opening, the audio starts, then we're going into the first room, and I may have only done this because I had both cars to myself on that first thing in the morning ride, otherwise maybe I would have had more inhibitions about this, but yeah, so all of that's happening, entering the ride, and I literally shout out loud, I love this!
I mean, alrighty, right as soon as you got in?
Yeah, right as the ride is starting, and particularly as with that opening audio, which I just loved. So,
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
yeah. So the ride is called Knott's Berry Tales.
Yes.
Maybe it should be called Member Berry Tales.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's a good Member Berry Tales ride, but nevertheless, it is very. Remember that. Like I looked at I kind of looked back at a POV of the original ride the night before, so I was recognizing a lot more stuff.
Unless you grew up with it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I don't think you need to know the old ride to enjoy this new one, but if you do look at stuff of the old ride, you'll recognize a lot more things.
I honestly think that Soapbox Racers would have translated better to... I mean, I'm not saying that's off the table, but I think I really want them to do a modern-day Soapbox Racers. I think that would translate really well to what the park needs right now.
That would be really nice.
Uh-huh.
In the meantime, there's a Soapbox Racers photo op.
Oh, is there really? Oh,
yeah, there's a bunch of vintage photo ops in the boardwalk area, like Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, the parachute jump.
And of course, one day we've got to get that coaster that was literally in my dream, where it's just the ride vehicles are just literally animatronic T-Rexes, just running around the park.
Yeah, they had one for Soapbox, and it had the tower with the dog in it.
Uh-huh.
And they also have the cave that used to be on the Sky Cabin tower. Because they put up a new K, so the old one is a photo op now.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, got it, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said the cave that used to be in the Sky Cabin tower. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's their crossover with the Cave Train adventure.
It's they just literally built up a cave that you rise up into, All right,
yeah.
Anyways.
So, but yeah, I very much enjoyed Knott's Berry Tales Return to the Fair.
That was the gameplay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. What I will say about the gameplay before we get to that specific element is how the gameplay is something kind of clever. Is you're just shooting at everything. Yes, you're specifically go for the pies and the coyotes, but you can just shoot anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
it'll just kind of have an effect on the environment.
Characters will react.
Nice.
Characters will react if you shoot them. And yeah, it's a great way of bringing this old ride into the modern age. They did it really well and respectfully. It's still a similar roadmap of the old ride story-wise, but translated into what used to be into the old Iron Reef space, and they did well with it. My expectation going in was expect Iron Reef, but cuter.
Totally. Yeah, that was honestly kind of my expectation too.
Yeah, and I will say
better than that.
Huh?
It's better than that.
Maybe a little.
Okay.
Because there's also some more physical stuff in the between screens.
Yeah.
And
that was my main complaint with Iron Reef is that even one of the most screen heavy Disney rides that has ever been done in Toy Story Mania, there's at least still physical elements to that ride, especially in Florida because I love the queue in Florida, but still.
Yeah. And Reef wasn't entirely physical deficient, but it not on the level of Berry Tales.
It lacked imagination. As far as physical transitions went.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it did have the spinning rock with the eel on it, which this ride doesn't get to. Get the level of.
I barely even remember that in Reef.
Well, yeah, and I will say I feel like Berry Tales is better in person than in a POV.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a few notes on things that could be fixed, and I do believe are fixable.
Okay.
So, number one...
Tales or just in the park in general?
For Knott's Berry Tales.
Okay, got it.
So, number one, the mechanics of the game, particularly the blasters.
Now, I really love the design of the blasters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying the Iron Reef blasters were a saint either. The trigger wasn't that great. But
I mean, just in general, the Iron Reef gameplay for me, the big problem with it is that it would barely even register what you were what you were shooting at or what was Like, if the effects are better in Fairy Tales, then that's a plus, because...
It's still a bit hard to... It's still a little difficult to track, maybe?
Uh,
Like, your projectiles? But what bugged me
right.
more was how, like, well, now I understand why Midway Mania has its shooters fixed to a point and equipped with a handle.
Midway Mania shooters are god tier. Like, I don't like shooting dark rides, but like those, like, as far as a shooting dark ride goes, like, the gameplay in Midway Mania is far better than anything else, in my opinion.
Fairy Tales also uses the pull to string method, but you're holding the blaster yourself, and
I don't like
heavy.
that. Oh, that feels way too complicated.
Yeah, so like my hand that was holding the blaster was sort of like trembling afterwards.
Yeah,
like when I'm moving it to sanitize.
I'm honestly with you. I really hope they do just mount it.
Or maybe make it more of a trigger system.
Uh-huh.
I mean, granted, I understand if they don't want to do a trigger, like, get kids on guns, but but anyway. So, note number 2. This might be minorly spoilery, but the ride could maybe do with less cutout characters. Like, some of the characters in this are like 2D cutouts, which, I mean, maybe some are better than others, but it's still maybe a touch off, especially when you have like some like they don't move, but you have like a couple physical frogs in the attraction.
Okay.
Kind
of sounds like that'd be a throwback to does it feel like an old school dark ride in that regard?
I don't know. It felt like it felt less like Mr. Toad and more like decoration, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Toad would be the comparison, but yeah, if it just
maybe also
like
it's just maybe it doesn't mesh as well with the rest of the ride.
That's fair.
Yeah, and my third note is that in a couple screens near the end, including the big finale, the 3D was off, like maybe a little Inside Out or something, which is especially bothersome.
Do you think they could just do these screen rides without the fucking 3D at some point? I said, do you think it'd be possible for them to do these screen rides without the fucking 3D at this point?
Depends on.
I'm just saying that seems to be a reoccurring issue.
I don't know
get there with how
seen it that much outside of this building.
Yeah.
What's ironic is that you didn't have it as much on Reef. Like Reef, you had it on the screen that led into the finale screen. But now it's the other way around. Ironic.
I don't. With Reef, I just remember it being kind of just blurry and muddy, just visually, in general. But it was more so just the aesthetic that attraction was going for.
Yeah, this one is slightly blurry, but it's also a more bright cartoon aesthetic. So.
Well, that's fine. I mean, like I said, with Iron Reef, I would use the term muddy to describe how that thing looked.
Something I did like about Reef is how the gameplay felt a bit more like a team effort, like all of the people in your unit are.
I could see that, yeah.
Fighting the thing, but
then again, I mean, it's like
the new ride still works.
I guess there's more of a competitive
nice spin
edge
on the shooter format. Anyway, so. Now, this isn't a note. It's just a little thing, just a little idea. Now, what would have been delightful, because the story of Fairy Tales, it's like, the bears make pies and the coyotes stealing them. So, what would have been fun is if the ending had the coyote in jail, in a cell like he was at the end of the original ride. But now you have the bears surrounding him or whoever, and they're like, well, what do you have to say for yourself? And the coyote responds, I was hungry!
That's funny. I thought you were going to make a Sad Eye Joe reference, but you went above and beyond. Well done.
I've been planning this for at least a year.
Are you serious? Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I think I had the idea,
Oh boy! All right, gotta love it.
Yeah, yeah. So I wasn't a Knott's. terribly, like all that long, like a few hours or something.
I'm curious. Have you ever, like, I know it's not really your kind of ride, but have you ever done Accelerator?
No, the thought has crossed my mind, but I haven't gone.
You know what is
Maybe
like,
someday.
considering that you enjoy X2 as much as you do, and X2 is super intense. I don't know. I'd give it a shot at some point, just to see if you'd like it or not.
Yeah,
Because it took me a couple rides to like really
or maybe Superman would be the more apt comparison.
No, it's way more intense than Superman.
Okay, I was just thinking because of the launch, but
no. Okay, well, you know how with Superman you were like pleasantly surprised that it was such a gradual launch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not that way on Accelerator. Accelerator fucking pops you out like a goddamn, like, you have to be ready for Accelerator to literally knock the wind out of you. I wasn't the first time I went on it. I was expecting a Superman launch, and I got that. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll see. But yeah,
maybe perhaps I'd like to be there when you do it for the first time. That'd be fun. But
that's an idea.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. It is still like probably the most intense coaster I've ever been on, just in terms of sheer forces. Like that in X2.
Yeah. X2, right. Like the only problem for me was on that last time I did it, and it physically hurt.
That's a problem with X2, just generally.
Yeah, like 1 out of 3, but still there.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So I leave, I get home, I get in the shower, and like just in the middle of the shower, I'm like, wait, when did I get here? Was I really just in Knott's?
That's funny.
So then flash forward to Disneyland Resort.
And of course, one of the things I do want to highlight is that Avengers Campus did have a publicly pretty bad opening weekend. Just in terms of like, the operations, and one of the things that I think is ridiculous is how they were letting people mobile order outside of the land. It's like you would think with the GPS and everything, there'd be a way to fix that. I don't know. But yeah. Of course,
Disneyland is also a get there early case. Like they opened, despite what the website says, they opened the structure. They started letting people park, like go through the parking booths around like 7:45. And then
nice.
So then, by the time I actually arrived at
their early type thing. Like even like when is Disney, like Disney is perpetually a get there early type thing. I will never go to a Disney park and not get there early.
Yeah, and it was also like by the time I parked and walked the tram route, which has an amusing Burma Shave spoof about like just a few more steps to the churro cart.
That's funny.
That's delightful. Yeah, so I arrived at the gate. The gates are open and the rides are available.
Yeah, that's funny because Ezra and I, like when we went to Magic Kingdom, I think all the rides were open like maybe 15 minutes before the posted opening.
Yeah, and then of course, the old miracle of us getting on Railway an hour before opening.
Well, that I don't think that was so much a miracle as much as that was just Disney being like, all right, you know what, let's just do it. Like they probably had that planned out.
Yeah. Granted, I had gotten on like Tower of Terror like 10 minutes.
The fact that we were on Tower of Terror before the park opened, after doing Railway before the park opened.
I'm talking about like before the Railway visit.
What?
I'm talking before the Railway visit.
What do you mean?
I'm talking like 2018. I arrived at Hollywood Studios like 10 minutes early, and Tower of Terror is already open. I go.
Oh, yeah. You just
never know. So. Yeah, I mean, granted, I
know for sure is that kind of shit is never going to happen at Discovery Kingdom.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I didn't get on quite as much as I could have before opening time because I was in the Snow White line for 10 minutes, but they weren't letting people on yet, and the people, some like family or kids behind me were getting me a bit stressed because of, they could have been masking and distancing better. So after 10 minutes, I just said, fuck this, I'm going to do Peter Pan.
Okay, so is this like the first time in Disneyland history that the Snow White line has been longer than the Peter Pan line?
It's possible.
Or is it still pretty equal?
I mean, maybe relatively equal. Maybe Snow White gets a little more generally, just from what I've been looking.
Okay.
Although, but yeah, it was nice with, and again, Pan, which was actually running, unlike Snow White at that moment. So I was like queued up and off
And
the
also,
ride in
Pan
less
is
than
a
10
damn
minutes.
good. That's a damn good first ride to go back on for Disneyland.
It was a nice one. Like, it was nice to go in there and have it be like so dark. Like,
yeah, totally.
yeah, soaring above the dark.
I actually know a little bit about what that's like to have Peter Pan be your first ride back at Disneyland after an extended hiatus.
Yeah, we did that while I got fast passes. You're the first time we met.
Yeah.
Aww.
And then after that, we went into the Sleeping Beauty Castle for my first time ever.
Yeah. Oh, you geeked out so much.
Oh, I did.
And there was another sort of fun angle with like how like back on Friday night, Tony Goldmark live tweeted "Return to Neverland," so it was still.
Oh, nice. That is kind of fun.
So the franchise was relatively fresh.
Yeah, totally.
And on the less fun note, it's like, Peter Pan is one of those rides that frequently pops up in dreams. So, or pops up in dreams more than once. So, like, let me just get on the real thing.
Yeah.
It's the first time that's happened. So, let's see. My attraction count or lineup that I accomplished on the Disney Day yesterday. So, Peter Pan, Haunted Mansion, actually getting on Snow White for the first one. Gadgets Go Coaster, Astro Orbiter, Space Mountain, Alice, Mr. Toad, Indiana Jones, Winnie the Pooh, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Big Thunder Mountain, Casey Jr., got a churro, second ride on Snow White, Little Mermaid, Pixar Pal Around, Luigi, and Web Slingers, and the Doctor Strange show.
Nice. It sounds like you got quite a lot in, honestly.
Yeah,
that sounds like a pretty cool day.
Honestly.
All right.
So, should I go out of some of the more minor anecdotes before Snow White?
I was thinking we could start with Haunted Mansion.
Okay. You know what? Okay, yeah, let's go with Haunted Mansion. So.
Now, I know about the portraits, Monkey. What I don't know, and what I still want to keep fresh, like, I've seen, like, I saw a video of, people being let in through the back entrance, and then I saw, like, some sort of fancy lighting going on. So I don't want to know that. I don't want to know what that is. So whatever the hell they changed about the actual loading station, I don't want to know.
Okay. The back entrance is optional.
Oh, it is. Is
like,
it?
They may ask you, depending on timing or whatever, like, would you like to go the back way?
I mean, honestly, just for novelty, I'd be like, yes, please.
Maybe in the future, I would.
Honestly,
I think it's the same hallway I would have used as a chicken exit when I was young.
I imagine it'd be quicker too, right?
Yeah. So you bypass the foyer and the stretching room.
Yeah. I don't know. That would be my option. Because I honestly, like, in Florida, as much as I love the stretch room, man, like, that Haunted
Mansion
nice
to just walk through.
Haunted Mansion was one of the few rides where we could just straight up marathon it, and we wouldn't have been able to do that if we couldn't just walk through the stretch room.
Yeah, which is, of course, physically impossible in California.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
If you walk through the stretch room, you hit wall.
So, if it makes any difference, they didn't change a ton. Mm-hmm. It's mostly lighting and some hair.
And some what now?
Hair.
Hair?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Like, I don't know, one character is different hair, and some characters gained or lost beards.
Oh, okay. That kind of hair. Got it. Okay. That's interesting, that character. I remember pirates will do that from time to time, gain and lose beards. It always throws me off.
But yeah, most of the changes are lighting.
Okay.
And so I will say I fucking loved how they do the foyer for this era.
Like, oh, really?
For the pandemic, well, a Roadrunner just went by out front. Anyway, so what I loved about it, so it's like they let in like 4 groups at a time into there. I was surprised they even did the foyer. I just assumed they'd lead you right into the stretching room, but no. So yeah, 4 groups that are kind of like situated around the corners, and with especially with the spider web pattern on the floor, it felt kind of like we were like in a circle around a pentagram or something.
Ooh, okay.
So it's very possible that would go away when it's safe to do so.
Sure.
For the time being, that was awesome. Now, if you don't mind, I have a fake rundown of fake changes to the attraction. So, may I?
Yes, I just want to make sure we end this thing off in like, I don't want to go too far over an hour and a half on recording, just to make sure I can process it.
I'll try and go through this at a pace.
Okay.
So, my fake rundown of the Haunted Mansion changes. So the foyer is the same, stretching room is the same. In the hallway, they've replaced the portrait of Master Gracie, so it's a portrait of Ron Howard, and it transforms into Ron Jeremy. In the load area, now it has Bob Hope golfing. You're bored, you go up the staircase, you pass a taco cart. In the endless hallway, you see that famous memeable moment of Squidward in the tub screaming.
Oh my god!
The conservatory has been replaced with a library, and in the library is the Glob Glow Gab Galab doing his song. You pass through a corridor of restroom doors. The clock has been replaced with Shrek. Leota is now doing the theme to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The ballroom is filled with half-dressed clones of Henry VIII and Franklin Pierce running around and into each other and screaming. Constance is now played by Grandpa Phil. So the Hatbox Ghost looks the same at first, but the head in the Hatbox is different. But you'll recognize it, and you'll know who it is. It will be confirmed who it is when that head says, "Hello." The groundskeeper has been replaced by the wreckage of the Titanic. The graveyard is generally the same, except now instead of grim grinning ghosts, they're singing eggs. The spot that used to have the Hitchhiker's Ghost now has Mark Davis and Claude Coates arguing over whose version of the ride is better, while Exitentio bangs his head against a wall. The mirrors aren't there anymore because ending a ride with looking in a mirror, that's not exciting. What is exciting, and what they've added in its place, is a kick line of emus. And then as you go up the speed ramp, they've replaced Little Leota. Like, the dialogue is the same, but now instead of Little Leota, it's Patty and Selma.
All right. I don't quite know what that was, but I hope you had fun with it.
I did.
Okay.
So,
all right. Let's see. Any other smaller antidote type stuff before you get to Snow White?
I did get to see the construction for Runaway Railway. Long building.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was great when I told you guys I was doing Astro Orbiter, and you sent a GIF of Jack Black being. But
why?
So I got to do.
I mean, I completely get when you explained it. Like, oh, I just want to be close to the, to the place where I want to. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a time killer.
But not too long of a time killer.
Yeah, right.
So I got to do boarding group for Indiana Jones. So it's kind of interesting. They used the upstairs queue of the Jungle Cruise. Maybe that'll change when Jungle reopens, but I don't know.
Now, do they just run you right through the film room?
Yeah, like pretty much all of the indoor queue, you just breeze through there.
That's what I thought, yeah.
What was crazy was that they trimmed down the film.
Oh, really?
So it's like just, welcome, stow your bags, your journey's turbulent. I'm envious of the wonders that await you if you avoid the eyes of Mara.
Oh, that's interesting.
Probably because you go through so quickly, and they don't even show the travelogue stuff. But I was surprised they cut out the seatbelt thing, because I remember that being...
because I assume that's why that film was, in there to begin with.
Yeah. And also, they got rid of the pole in the spike room.
No!
Maybe it'll come back when things are safe again.
I get why. But no!
Yeah, so...
maybe when it comes back, it'll be they'll actually have the ceiling working. That'd be great.
Yeah. And of course, the Jeeps have the plexiglass barrier in the second row, but I was in the front row, so it didn't make as much difference for me. Yeah, Indy. You wanted to know about Casey Jr.
Mostly just like I assume that it's one party per cage.
Yeah, one party per car.
Uh-huh.
The cages have some plexiglass on either end of them.
Oh, okay. And then let's see. I assume they're running 2 trains.
Yeah, they were running 2 trains.
That's good. That's always good because
They
sometimes
didn't
they don't.
do all of the switchbacks. It was just kind of loop around the edges of it, and
Okay.
and the line extended back towards the Dumbo switchbacks and under
Now,
that.
do they have like all the? I assume maybe like all the carts that were in Fantasyland, kind of heading towards Big Thunder Trail, are those gone and in favor of extended queue?
All the what?
Like the carts, like the little like the food carts.
I think you mean like in the middle of Frontierland?
Kind of like kind of like in
the
between.
Thunder Queue, like I think it was like it starts extending towards the trail, and then it goes into that regular switchback area it already had, and then into the main path.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, did you get a solo Falcon ride?
I did. For some reason, they put me in the ADA pod, maybe because it was like about ready. But otherwise, I think I still would have been solo in there. No pun intended.
Solo. Now, did you get the pilot seat, and were you able to just like crash into everything?
Yeah, not as much crashing as I expected, but I still did some crashing, and somehow I still got both containers of coaxium.
The game. I feel like with that quote-unquote game, you really have to because that's why I feel like just trying to crash as much as you can is more of a game than any sort of actual goals you can accomplish, because the coaxium stuff is just, it kind of feels arbitrary.
Yeah. And of course, as you guys saw, Chewbacca showed up below the Falcon.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And
you sent me a Chewbacca, and it took me like a minute to
I had the temptation, and I decided I'll act on it.
Kind of like when I went on Winnie the Pooh solely for the purpose of recording
Dreamland?
I'm going into Dreamland, and I did that when there were other people in the car with me.
Yeah, and also because I forgot to mention it, I kind of like having the social distance markers in the queues. Like, it'd be nice if that stays around in some format. Maybe not 6 feet, but hopefully in a way that it doesn't have to spill out into the lands.
Spilling out into the lands is the main problem for sure. But I do agree that it's kind of nice that it's not so jam packed in those queues.
Yeah. And also,
I remember Big Thunder at Disney World was particularly efficient in that regard.
Yeah. Like the what's it called? And the plexiglass barriers in the queues didn't bother me. Yeah.
It's just kind of the reality of what you got to deal with for the time.
Of course. Yeah. I might have liked maybe I like the Knott's ones a little more. I don't know. But yeah, and of course it was just frigging adorable on Casey Jr. Just, right in the area before that last tunnel, there were a bunch of geese.
That's awesome.
Yeah, geese, like old geese and younger geese.
I fucking love that ride, man. As you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. You said you got to go on gadgets?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Was the greatest attraction in the resort open, or did they have it roped off?
It looked like there was a barrier in
front. Okay, I'm not surprised.
Although Tarzan's treehouse was open.
That makes more sense, because Tarzan's treehouse is a lot more open air.
Yeah. Chippendale's treehouse, it's too good for this world.
I would laugh if they just, if they kept it, boarded up, but the tree itself just stayed there perpetually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're running out of time here, so let's get to Snow White.
Snow White. So, yeah, also fun fact, context, I loved the previous version. I even somehow managed to make it into the last car that went through the previous version.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah. This new version, it's all right. It's not a repeat of how I feel about Soarin' Around the World. That was like,
I mean, the fact that you were willing to do it a second time told me, like,
yeah.
oh, at least he doesn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I was willing to do the Kung Fu Panda adventure at Universal Hollywood a second time, but yeah, that's a second time.
Oh,
And
I didn't know you had strong feelings about that.
the pre-show's good. The ride, I mean, the main show wasn't.
Okay, fair enough.
But as for Snow White, it's it was a nice little redoing of it. It was some nice bits of refreshing. It was neat to see how much they actually kept. Now, I won't deny I could see this being a polarizing redo. Like, I could definitely see people being like, it's a book report, literally. And I feel like what was it?
I still don't necessarily think it is, though.
I mean, you have the literal books.
What literal books?
Okay, I'm kind of going into minor spoilers for
Okay.
the Snow White changes, but there's a bit more of a literal theme with books being present.
Oh, is that where are the screens on books?
No, like there's some books in the queue, and there's a book at the end.
Well, okay. Yeah, I know, but still, it's not.
That said, there is one particular screen in the ride that maybe should have been a book. Because I feel like the spot that used to be the mirror and no, not the mirror. That used to be the boat and the alligators. That is probably the weakest spot on it.
I agree, honestly, from what I've seen of it.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just a screen.
Yeah, like just a screen, and then the minor spoilers. The way they do the witch's demise is kind of like, it would have been less awkward if they did better animation for the witch. Like, my kind of new joke for it is that, like, so what, they don't show the witch dying, they just show her being up there like, oh, what do I do? I'm trapped. So
right.
I have to imagine, like, you get the happy ending, and then what, is the witch just still up there on the mountain? What do I do?
Wait, is her dialogue literally like that? Like, what do I do?
No, she doesn't say anything. I'm just describing her anime.
Oh, it'd be funny if she was just like, oh, what do I do?
I'm paraphrasing what she says in the movie.
Gotcha.
She says it, like, way less humorously in the movie.
Right.
I'm trapped. What do I do?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Right, okay.
Yeah, this is kind of has like just sort of going back and forth, like, oh.
Oh, God. So what do you think of the new stuff at the end?
It's done nicely.
Yeah, I quite like it.
I especially love how the Snow White figure is animated.
I like all the fiber optic stuff.
Oh yeah, that was cool. So yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's better than the previous version. I may not be the most unbiased judge on that, but
is it better than Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? No.
Well, I also love Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So.
Oh, do you? Because I don't.
Like, if I were to rank Disney World attractions that are in Florida but not California, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train would be my number one.
Oh, that's incorrect, but okay. Just straight up. Not Expedition ever. Seriously? That's a hot take.
Well, then
I did not know you were that much of a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train fan.
Well, then call me grabbing something that's boiling.
I mean, not like, are you counting the stuff that used to be at Disneyland but isn't anymore in that equation?
I said Florida attractions, not in yeah, I probably am including it in that equation.
Okay. I don't think it's a better attraction than the damn People Mover, but whatever.
People Mover's awesome.
All right, teach their own. Look, if it was just like, if you didn't have to wait 2 hours for it every time you wanted to do it, I'd feel a lot better about it.
I don't deny that.
Anyways.
But yeah, so Snow White's Enchanted Wish, I don't know if it's better than the previous one, but it's still nice. I'll still ride it.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of funny, like, now, like with Pinocchio and Snow White, it's like one half of that side is the more story-based experiences, and the other more experiences.
I mean, I feel like it's always kind of been that way, but yeah, I hear you. Like even more so.
Yeah.
All right. So, you want to hop over to California?
The place I already live? But yeah, okay.
All right. Any notes? I imagine it must suck not being able to do single rider on Radiator Springs racers.
That would have been nice.
Like I actually like just came to that realization a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh man, like that alone is gonna make California Adventure just less worth it, just in general.
If I had racers, maybe I would have gotten my own car. That would have been nice.
What?
If I had done racers, maybe I would have gotten my own car. That would have been nice. But the line
yeah, but
I
imagine the wait time was probably pretty bad.
Yeah, I figured like it would be like I'd be cutting it less close to my boarding group with Luigi than racers.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think Luigi's had less cars out.
Uh-huh.
And my car barely went anywhere.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That sucks.
Also, you know, they decorated that behind Luigi's, which is nice. You know, the big new building, which is nice, but there's something on the side that's advertised like Mr. Curb Feeler. That sounds so wrong. Okay, so yeah, that outdoor overflow for Spider-Man, pretty bad, and some of the Spider-Bot sounds near the gift shop didn't help.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's just general thoughts on Spider-Man before we maybe go a little more detail on things. So, you know, I was trying to go and expect Voyage to the Iron Reef, but with hands-free technology. And it was something like that, kind of. So yeah, Spider-Man ride, it's nice. You know, I love the youth element of it. The 3D is decent, and some kind of neat gameplay, I guess. Like, oh cool, I can just, you know, gesture to the thing and that'll do it. I mean, it has to be specific, but yeah, that's a neat way to do a shooter. So yeah, it's not an amazing ride, but it's a nice one. I can definitely sense going through Avengers Campus and like doing Spider-Man or Guardians and the Doctor Strange show, and in each case being like going on it and being like, that was it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some nice qualities to them, like some nice stuff in there. And yeah, I understand why you'd be like, I understand Rise of the Resistance needing a boarding group because it's a big epic experience, but this needs a boarding group? And I get that feeling. I also get that maybe it's a thing they need to do for, like, physically, like it may not be able to physically handle that many people.
No, I get you. I mean, it's, you know, it's the demand mixed with, like you said, it's not that big of a space just in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least it's good. Like, it was three-dimensional. It will be nice when you don't have to wear a mask anymore and you can wear the glasses properly.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really underwhelmed by how the queue looks, just in video at least.
The exterior queue?
Exterior, yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just radiates like the energy of, oh, isn't that cute? Cedar Fair spent the energy to theme a queue. To me, it kind of radiates that kind of energy.
Are you talking the main outdoor queue or the...
I'm talking the main outdoor queue where you see like the vats of web and that kind of shit. It just feels very lazy to me.
I mean, like, it worked okay for me, I guess. Like, I like the signs or something.
The signs are what felt lazy to me. That's funny. I don't
know. Content of the signs.
I mean, the content's fine. I just think visually, it's kind of like, oh, it's a college, so yeah, like we can skip out, we can cheap out on how it's gonna actually look.
I
don't know.
And of course, no, I did not get to see the Stuntronic. Maybe Wind was a thing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I've never been clear on like when it appears.
Did you try and ask a cast member?
No,
No.
I don't know if I had time to do that.
You probably would have had to choose between Strange and that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well.
One thing I do like about the Spider-Man ride, though, pretty much the only thing I like about it, just at least from what I can see of it, is the fact that I really do appreciate that the ride is basically just like a tour of Avengers Campus.
Yeah, it's like a big crossover for buildings.
Yeah,
like when it got to the, like when that Tavon logo showed up, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. So,
in that respect, the ride is a bit, I won't deny, the structure is a bit repetitive. It's like, pull up to this thing, it pulls up to be a screen and goes back, and you move to the next one.
Sure. Now, let me ask you this. Did you notice any, because I know there's at least a couple of them, but how many hidden spider bots did you notice in the land?
I saw two, like one webbed up on the exterior for the ride and one webbed outside the store.
Okay. I mean, I think if they had more of them, like if they had like, let's say like a dozen or so spread out throughout the land, I think that'd be a great touch. As far as the connective tissue of the story of the ride goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Any character interactions you saw, or were you not there long
I didn't
enough?
get a great look at interactions, but I did see Loki in a car and Thor up below the Quinjet balcony. Cool. And that was kind of like going on the Fun Wheel, Pixar Pal around beforehand and seeing the Quinjet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, here's hoping that the e-ticket happens.
I mean, it's gotta, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man, it's a nice ride. If you've never been on either Rise or Web Slingers and you don't care about getting on one over the other, go for Rise. If you have on Rise and you haven't been on Web Slingers yet and you want to go for Web Slingers. Mm-hmm. After that, it's up to you.
All right.
I don't know if this is true, but I saw someone suggest like maybe Universal might have had regulations on what Disney could and couldn't do with their Spider-Man ride.
Garrett mentioned something about that in the other chat, so yeah.
Yeah, which I could see. Yeah, Avengers Campus, nice land. It looks nice. I couldn't really feel the remnants of Flick's Funfair or Bugs Land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cool. Saying I can't feel you in an MCU property, that's never sad.
Let's see. I do kind of like the whole, the retrified buildings look that it has. Yeah. I feel like that is, like, oddly enough, I feel like it is kind of like one of the more California lands that has opened in the park in a while.
And I was able to look through the windows and see the pretzels.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Of course, that, like, you and I are never gonna, like... that Pim Kitchen in general, like, that is my e-ticket. Like, I might even be more excited for Pim Kitchen after the e-ticket opens. You never know.
I hear ya.
But, all right. So Strange, let's just round things out on Strange.
It's there. I was surprised how little distancing there was. It exists. It's a thing. The lighting's nice. I believe it's a show that was on the cruise ship, so.
Oh, is it really? Oh, Jesus, that's not great. Just in terms of, like, that's kind of cheaping out a little bit.
Also, there's a moment, like, at the beginning where you kind of see Dormammu through a portal. I think that's what it was. So you see the eyes. And maybe it's just because that spot is so close to Cars Land. But I was like, are those the eyes of Mater and Lightning?
Oh, God. That's funny. Yeah, when those doors open, it's like, to me, it's kind of almost a tease because everyone's saying that Doctor Strange should have been a dark ride, and I totally agree. And
Yeah.
it's like those doors open and there's like some sort of crazy dark ride shit going on in there, and then it's just literally hidden behind closed doors. All right, how was the afterplay in Strange?
He was good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, overall,
like,
I don't like the effects in it or anything to write home about from what I saw, but
yeah. I wonder, is it Thor every time?
yeah. Well, the funny thing about that is that when I saw that, you know, the whole like the request thing, I like in the back of my head, I was thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they had like a bunch of different characters on standby and they could kind of like maybe rotate based on who.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The video I saw, it was Thor.
Yeah. And I saw Thor, which, so they mentioned Pym Kitchen to him, like, yeah, they'll have your drink, but bigger.
Uh-huh.
And it's and as I was standing at the back of the place, like, some of the stuff was harder to see.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Like I said, though, I imagine that area at night does look very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, shit. I think we've pretty much gone through the lot.
Pretty much. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll return to parks. Maybe, like, see how things go. Health, pandemic-wise, of course. Definitely, like, probably wait until Jungle Cruise opens.
Oh, yeah.
Haunted Mansion Holiday is going to be a big question.
What do you mean? Like, if they're going to do it?
Yeah, like, if that comes back, so.
Right. I know that I would like to get back to Southern California, especially if they're doing Scary Farm this year. But
they may.
What?
I think they may.
I think so too, because I'm pretty sure Halloween Horror Nights is on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but then I mean, I just don't know what my budget's going to be like, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any final thoughts?
And of course, Universal, I'm still not sure.
Yeah, I forgot that you haven't done the new Universal stuff yet.
No, not yet. And also the crowds have looked crazy there, so.
Yeah.
Lines. So that may be a question of like, okay, when, and also because it's in a different county than I.
Sure, yeah.
So it would be nice to make it sooner than later. I just don't know when. It might be nice to, and also generally with parks, like it might be nice to, maybe I'll wait until you can go without a mask so I don't have to worry about other people like not following the rules.
Right.
And so I can wear 3D glasses properly.
Fair enough.
And in Universal's case, so I don't have to deal with, backup masks after Jurassic World.
Yeah, obviously you're not going to go to, I would hope you wouldn't go to Universal and not do Jurassic World.
Oh, that would be one of the reasons I'm going.
Yeah, of course. All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I feel like ranking those 3 new things, Fairy Tales is number 1.
Oh, nice.
Snow White and Spider-Man, it's a little hard to decide, partially because they're apples and oranges, no pun intended. I'm at this second, I might give a slight edge to Spider-Man just because of that, last third on Snow White could be tighter, but it's flowing. It's subject to change.
Okay. Cool. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us on this little. It's not really a trip report. It's more of a field. I don't know. Whatever it is. And I will be back with a Discovery Kingdom vlog hopefully soon. I am having some issues with my phone, so I'm hoping that I can actually record video there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Have a good night, everyone. See y'all later. If y'all are wearing your masks, don't fucking remove them.